Today we're going to be learning Module 5.2 lesson, which goes with running rivals and bend it like Bianca. Today we're going to talk about our critical vocabulary, homographs, and our literary elements that we've been reviewing all year. Let's take a look at the critical vocabulary. The first word is meets. Repeat after me, meets. When a swimmer or runners take part in races, the events are called meets, and they've used it in a sentence here for us. Our running team won several meets. Number 2, upset. Repeat, upset. If you are upset, you are sad or unhappy about something. And here's our sentence. Maura is upset because she lost her favorite skateboard. Upset. Number 3, repeat after me, concentrated. If you concentrated on something, you focused all your thoughts on it. If I concentrated, I could memorize the poem. You might concentrate, boys and girls, when you are studying your multiplication facts. Number 4, disappointed. If you were disappointed, something didn't happen as you expected it to. Repeat after me, disappointed. Dennis was disappointed about missing the play. Number 5, repeat after me, personal. If something is personal, it is connected to and only about one person. Here's an example. My journal is personal and not for others to read. You might have a personal journal that you like to keep too that's only for you. Okay, now we're going to talk about homographs. Homographs are words that have the same spelling but more than one meaning. Like here, look at our example here on number 1. The desert is filled with colorful flowers in springtime. I need your help with this homework, so please don't desert me. So if you notice, it's desert and dessert are both spelled the same, but they mean different things. We're going to be looking at homophones. Homophones are like our spelling words this week that go along with running rivals. When we look at our homophones, they are words that are pronounced the same way but have a different meaning or spelling. The word part phone means sound. So here we have that root phone, which means sound. This will help you remember the homophones sound alike. Let's look at the example they gave us over here that matches. Number 2, the conductor smiled and took a bow after the concert. Can you see the nest of baby birds on that tree bough? So look here at the two difference, how they're spelled differently and they mean different things, but they sound the same. So that goes with homophones. Let's test our knowledge of homographs and homophones. A homograph, remember, has the same spelling but different sounds or definitions. Present and present. So say present and present. Excuse, like excuse me from this, please, and excuse, when you're trying to make up an excuse for something that you did wrong. Tear, both of these mean different things. So we could say tear, like you have a tear in your eye from being sad. And this one can mean tear, if you tear a piece of paper in half. Word, look here, word. And then we have word. Do you notice how now they have different spellings here for the homophones? It's not like the previous examples that we had where we had the same spellings. This first one, word, we could use it like the ceiling fan's word in the smoky air. And this is a word like our spelling words that we practice each week. Pause. This is what we do when we mute something. And this pause is like an animal's pause. Beat. This beat is a rhythm. And then this beet is like what we eat. Have you ever tried beets before? Okay, the last skill we're going to look at are literary elements. And literary elements are the pieces that make up a story. And we've been reviewing this since you began listening to stories before you could even read. We have our main part here are characters. That's the people and animals in a story. So we might have major characters or minor characters, and we've been talking about that. The setting is where the story takes place. And sometimes throughout the story, the setting can change. After we just finished reading a lot of different plays, we noticed how the scene changes, and that's the setting. A plot is conflict and resolution. So what happened? What was the problem in the story, and how was it solved? Events that happen in the story. Sometimes these can be in chronological order. So they might change a character. They might affect the mood or how they're trying to make us feel. And it helps us to build the plot. So a lot of the times we might have a conflict at the beginning of the story or the middle of the story. And then we have events that lead up to the resolution or how the problem's solved. How do you learn about characters and how they are connected to each other when you read a story? A lot of the times when we read a story, you might have a character that relates to you or a setting that relates to you. So maybe it reminds you of something. Maybe it could be a previous book that you've read, or maybe it's somewhere you've been before. You can connect to stories. Characters that are the focus of a story are considered major characters. Characters with a lesser role are minor characters. So if you have somebody that's really involved in the plot or the conflict, they would be a major character. If you have characters that just pop in every now and again throughout the story, they would be a minor character. When and where the story takes place can influence the plot. Just think, characters may be involved in different activities in a story set, in a home. Then on the other set, they might be at school. So like I said earlier, the setting can change. The events in a story are usually presented in order, and that's what we were talking about when we said chronological order. Authors use this text structure to show how the events build. So how we talked about how the events can build onto the plot, the conflict and the resolution. Now, if you're follow the directions from your teacher, but if you would like, you can go ahead and read Running Rivals again and turn to page 403 and see if you can find who the major and minor characters are, where the setting takes place, and what is the plot here? What is the conflict and how is it solved? Thank you.